Hello, everyone. I call this meeting to order at 7 p.m. on October 17th. Please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call. Supervisor Fitzpatrick.
Here.
Councilwoman Freeman.
Present.
Councilman Perdicone.
Here.
Councilwoman Romeo.
Here.
Councilman Weiner.
Here.
And attorney for the town.
Here.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. We have several public hearings tonight. They will start at 7:35 p.m. We are open for business, and our recycling day is October 28th. We have a drive-in movie at Camp Eastman this weekend featuring E.T. Please register online. We also have a trunk and treat event at the community center on October 27th. And our leaf drop will be opening. Tommy, you want to chime in here? October 28th. So, okay. All right. With that, we have a certificate of recognition. Chief, want to come up? We'll go down there, right?
Steve, you want to come right up here? Hey, you can stand right over here. Oh, I'm gonna move the mic around here so I'll stand right next to you. Cool. All right, guys. First of all, thank you everybody for attending. I have a letter of recognition for our two gentlemen that are sitting up here right here. I would like to take the time to recognize David George and Stephen Rumian for their longtime commitment to the Irondequoit Police Department and the town of Irondequoit. In May of 1994, David George was inspired to join the formerly named Special Police of the Irondequoit Police Department. Over the years, he participated in hundreds of events, from parades to other town-sanctioned events. David stated, "The best memories are from interacting with the public at the wonderful events hosted by the town and the camaraderie within the unit." In July 2000, the Special Police added a new member to the ranks, Steve Rumian. Steve also participated in hundreds of events over the years. He was driven to join the Special Police by his desire to be a part of the Irondequoit Police Department and to give back to his community. Steve shared that his favorite memories are from working at the parades where he could interact with the residents. He especially loved walking the grounds and volunteering all the 4th of July festivals. In May 2008, David and Steve rose to the rank of sergeant within the Special Police. They led with pride and honor. The promotion came with added responsibilities, such as overseeing a squad of volunteers, administering field training of new volunteers, and acting as a first-line supervisor to the members of their respective squads. Over the years, these two volunteers have received training in handcuffing, crowd control, range safety, radio procedures, conflict resolution, traffic control, New York State Penal Law Article 35, use of force, and more. They have assisted in events in town, such as parades, bike rodeos, rabies clinics, the St. Jehoshaphat's Festival, 4th of July events, National Night Out, staffing for marathons, and food drives, to name a few. The long-standing dedication to service demonstrated by Dave and Steve is an example for others to follow. These two men volunteered countless hours to enjoy the safety of Irondequoit residents. Gentlemen, thank you for your service and congratulations on your retirement from the Special Events Unit. Your commitment has made the town a better place. Thank you, David.
Town Board, please stay up here for a couple minutes, please. I have a proclamation to read. This is a proclamation on behalf of our supervisor. I think the cat's out of the bag now. The family's here, so Rory figured something was up. So I will read this proclamation. Whereas a resilient community is made up of many unique individuals, families, and organizations that reside within the help compromise the fabric of the community, and attendant to such concerns of the town of Irondequoit is justly proud to acknowledge the contributions and achievements of such individuals and organizations. And whereas Irondequoit is proud to be home to many civic-minded organizations and individuals who find success working collaboratively to advance the collective good, and whereas Rory Fitzpatrick, elected by the constituency in November 2021 to lead this community as town supervisor, and whose purpose was to bring individuals, families, and organizations of the town together to work as a team for a more sustainable and resilient future for its residents. Whereas with the support of many and under the leadership, the town of Irondequoit has been recognized by the New York State DEC for achieving bronze certification as a duly noted climate smart community. And whereas the climate smart community principles of sustainable development and resilient planning, now under Supervisor Fitzpatrick's leadership, the town of Irondequoit were initiated, coordinated, and documented. And whereas Climate Smart Communities is a New York State program that helps local government take action to reduce greenhouse gas emissions, adapt to a changing climate, and practice equity. Now let it be resolved that we, the town board, on behalf of the entire town of Irondequoit, do hereby recognize and thank Supervisor Fitzpatrick for his bipartisanship commitment to the Climate Smart Community certification program and supporting our local government building a sustainable, balanced climate action program, one step at a time, keeping the Irondequoit a town for a lifetime. So declared this day, the 17th of October, 2023. Thank you. Thank you, Rory. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Obviously, this is a surprise. This was not done by myself. This was done as a team. So thank you to everybody. And I got very nervous when my family showed up. I figured they were signing up for public input to let me have it. So, but I appreciate all your support at home. Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody. Okay, thank you again. When I left my house, my wife was cooking on the grill, so I was shocked to see her show up tonight. So that's right, yeah. All right, we'll move on to public input. Okay, we have up first is Marcia Enright. Just please, you have 3 minutes. State your name and address before speaking, and please be courteous. We have quite a few people signed up tonight.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
As I've stated to you all before, I'm not a resident, but my family is, and I'm a frequent flyer here. I have 2 doctors here, I go to the hairdresser here, I shop here. Zoning Code R3 and its intent is clear for the residents. No hotels, no motels in a residential area. I have stated before, short-term rentals are in fact declared motels by the state of New York as they have to pay hotel motel tax, and they're referred to as transient rental tax. So given the current code and not adding the words short-term rental to the town, do you become liable for not adding those words when you know there are issues? In fact, 3 months ago, a short-term rental got described as an Airbnb. Airbnb is nothing short of a brand name. It's like Scott's, White Cloud, Charmin. It's toilet paper. It's just a brand name. I found 35 of them in 8 minutes, all operating in the town of Irondequoit on the internet, and I have a page there listing who they are. I also put in there one who is a direct relationship over on Culver Road as of this week to Airbnb. She will be renting out from Culver Road. The state also, if I'm sitting in a parking lot, says I can be sitting in a parking lot, I can be drunk. Well, the problem is the law has an intent, as does this code. I'm in a parking lot. The car isn't moving, but I can get a DWI because of the law's intent. The same as your code had an intent. No hotels, no motels. If I go to the schools or a public parking lot, the signs say no drugs, no alcohol, no tobacco use. But in this case, the words are there. Does that mean I can't take my atorvastatin there? The word drugs is there. Does that mean I can't use Narcan on somebody that's overdosing there? Narcan's a drug. It also says no tobacco use. Does that mean I can stand there and smoke pot all day? Does it mean I can vape in a school parking lot? I don't think so.
Marcia, the times, can you please wrap it up?
So how much longer is it going to take the board to add the words to the code? Because my daughter, after living on Schnackle, her family's lived there, her husband's family's lived there for 100 years. They have to put their house up for sale because of the short-term rental next door. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Marcia. Okay, next up we have Tammy.
Tammy Haldo, 39 Schnackle. And again, you know why I'm here, to speak about the short-term rental next door. And it's hard for me not to get caught up in the minutia of all the things that happen every single day that I have to tolerate. I'm glad to see that the moratorium is on the list of things that you plan to do. What I want to know is, if and when you put a moratorium in, how long is it going to take to get the moratorium in place? And how long will the moratorium be? How long is it going to take you to write the code? Because I got a hold of you in May. My lawyer asked you to put a moratorium in place in June, which you did not do until now. I guess squeaky wheels get the grease. But I'm the one, and I don't in any way think that it's falling on deaf ears. I do think that you are listening. But I am the one who's had to tolerate it for 7 months. Every single day, that place is rented out. Every 2 days. This morning, 6 a.m., my intruder alerts are going off. My husband gets home at 4:30 in the morning, and our alarms are going off because that's when their renters came in, is at 6 o'clock in the morning. They're on my property. And then they, you guys say to call the cops. I'm not calling the cops because someone's walking through my property. By the time the cops got there, they'll be off my property. They have bigger fish to fry than someone doing that, but it is very aggravating to me. So again, I kind of want to know, if the moratorium gets put in place, how long will the moratorium be for?
So the moratorium's for 1 year, because it's 1 year. Also, it goes into effect when it's voted in.
So I would have to tolerate this for over another year,
Not necessarily. The moratorium gives us up to a year.
up to a year. So how
So-
close to writing the code are you?
Well, we've been writing a code for a couple months now. It's not an easy.
Finalizing the
so-
code. I'll choose my words clearer.
Okay, thank you very much.
Finalizing.
I appreciate your time tonight.
Is that the end of my 3 minutes?
Yes, I know, sorry, you have another 50 seconds.
Okay, so I didn't know how close to the end of code, because like I said, I am going to put my house up January 1st if I don't know how close you guys are to finalizing this. Any, Yeah.
I've learned not to make any sort of promises here, because you'll be here, back here. If I give you an exact time, you'll be back here calling me a liar, so.
No, I just
I'm
wondered if it's
we're-
close to
We are
3 months,
absolutely working on it, and we're
6
doing the
months, a
best that
year.
we possibly can to get it done. We're not going to put a code out there that's unenforceable, so we are doing everything we can to do it the proper way so that we can actually enforce the code.
okay.
Thank you.
And then the last thing I wanted to say is I'm hoping that when you write it, that you're leaning more towards the 28-day rule, which is where you don't do short-term rentals, that you do midterms, where someone has to rent it for at least 28 days at a time, visiting nurses, RG&E staff.
Yeah, so next month, we have a public hearing, and love you to come back and give us those ideas.
All right, thank you guys very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, next up, Gina Maletta.
I'm talking about 27 Colwood Drive. I
Okay.
live at 64. And about the pool back there, it's green with algae. The frog pit attracts frogs to my basement and yard, and I can't sit in there. There's odors, E. coli, bacteria. The pool cover's torn, and the water's going into the pool now. And the fence is broke. It's been sided, but it's still broke. And there's holes in the cover. It makes it dangerous for little kids to fall in. And the pool cover was supposed to be sided, but she didn't side it. She sent it over to the county, and the fence is still broke and everything. And it needs to be, it's never been maintained, ever, the water back there. It's all green, and it needs to be fixed. It needs to be drained, the pool, and filled with dirt and sod. And it could be drained now, which would be good, and then filled with sod, and that would take care of it because it's not in use. It's a frog pit. And that, I don't know what happened with the pool cover, nothing. And the fence, that's not fixed. But I'd like to get everything fixed here. Thank you.
Thank you.
I don't know what's gonna happen. Oh, and there's supposed to be a code written, Mr. Fitzpatrick said. I don't know if he's gotta write a code. And I sent the pictures over to Mr. Fitzpatrick, a whole bunch of them. I don't know what happened with the county, do you know? Here?
I do, yeah.
Oh, what happened?
So there's no health violation. So just to update the board here, Gina, are you finished?
Yeah, there wasn't any health violation?
No. I'll explain it when you're done, so
Oh.
I don't want to take up your time, so.
What, you want me, when do you want to explain it?
Well, when you go back and sit down, I don't want to take up your 3 minutes, so.
Oh,
Yeah.
is there anything else that could be done?
Are you,
Anything?
sure, are you done?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
All right, I'll update the board here. So, yeah, so we have, Gina has been calling our code, my office. She's been in to meet close to 200 times over the last few weeks. We've talked to the resident. They're cited for their fence. We've talked to the county about if there's a health issue back there. They said there's not, so that's under the county jurisdiction. Unfortunately, this gentleman has fallen under hard times. He was not able to open his pool this year, so the pool is covered and looks like my pool would look at the end of the winter. The fence has a minor issue, which he was cited for, and the rest of his property is in very good shape. We're not getting any complaints from any of the other neighbors. We have gone over several times at Gina's request, and we're trying to handle it the best we can under what we can do with our code. So they have been violated for their fence. He mentioned that he's going to do his best to fix it. We'll make sure that he does that to the best of his abilities with his financial situation. And the pool is not a safety risk, is where our code comes in if it was not covered and empty. The request to fill it is between $10,000 and $15,000 to do that. So we are working with the resident. There is no violation with the pool, from a health issue or a safety issue. So we are working with him, and we are continuing to take Gina's calls, emails, and visits, and we will continue to do that until we can solve this problem. So our residents fall under all different categories, and we have a resident that's struggling and doing their best to do it. But from the outside, the property is well maintained. You can see it over a 6-foot fence. That's the only time that you can see the pool. And again, they were unable financially to open their pool this summer. So we are working on that. As far as a code, there is no specific code, and we'll have to look at that. So, but we're doing the best we can here to deal with a very sensitive issue. So, Samuel Aginello is up next.
Hello everyone, my name is Sam Aniello. I live at 416 Rawlinson Road. On August 16th of this year, early in the morning, it was a very heavy rainstorm. And from what we can gather, talking to the neighbors, the storm drain along the street got clogged with some sort of debris over a certain period of time, and the stormwater backed up into the sanitary sewer and caused multiple houses throughout the street to get sewage backed up into their basements. My homeowner's insurance didn't cover it. My neighbors also did not, because most homeowners insurance don't cover backflow from sewage. And we reached out to the town's insurance agency, the Tokyo Marine HCC, and they also denied our claim, saying that this was like a 50-year rainstorm or something, and that no negligence could be proven. But I know myself and a lot of my neighbors are feeling a bit of a breach of trust from the town, that we sort of expect that the sewers and the storm drain system be maintained in such a way that this sort of stuff doesn't happen. I don't know if there's anything else that can be done. We tried to go through the proper channels. Like I said, submitted a claim. I have a very small child at home. This was 4 days after we got home from the hospital. This happened to us. So I'd love to ask the board if there's any other suggestions you guys have of stuff we can do to be made whole, and if not, then maybe we could find something to work with Public Works to make sure that storm drain is kept clear on a more regular basis, so this sort of stuff doesn't happen again.
Yeah. My name is Eve Moses. I'm a neighbor. I'm not on your list. We're just here together.
Yeah.
I've been in the neighborhood for over 30 years, and I've always been told that if it's an issue between the front of our house to the street, that's our problem. If it's in the street on out, that's the town.
Yeah.
They've had trouble with this drain many times at the corner of Seneca and Rawlinson Road, and a number of us were hit pretty hard, and a lot of damage. And the same thing happened with my insurance, and my insurance contacted the town's insurance, and I have a letter saying that nothing can be resolved. This is crazy.
Do you have bathrooms in your basement?
Yes, we do.
Yes.
I'm not aware of any town code that prohibits that. I know that backflow protectors can be installed, but that's expensive, and I think Eve has one, and it failed due to the storm surge. So, like I said, not necessarily looking for a resolution right here, right now. Just wanted to let the town know that this had happened, and you know, I'm a young homeowner. I don't know the ins and outs of all the town codes and everything, so.
And I'm an old homeowner, and it's getting tough.
Okay.
You know, when it's
Yep.
always falling on the residents every time. Same thing with the assessments, but that's another story, you know?
Thank you.
Yep, thank you very much. Appreciate your time. Okay, next up, Greg Devlin.
Said you had a lot of people. Good evening, Greg Devlin, Carroll Drive. You all know me. Such. I'd like to put a slightly different perspective on what I think should be put on I-Square. Former boss of mine used to say there's always two sides to every story. And but recently, we all know I-Square has been put up for sale, or at least part of it has. And in his interview with Channel 10, Mr. Nolan stated that he does not know why the town supervisor and deputy supervisor continue to be difficult. That's Councilman Perticone has been around for this entire saga, as you know, right? But let's look back. 12 years ago, this was proposed. And when Mr. Nolan proposed I-Square, he originally said he was going to put together a plan. He put together a plan, 7 buildings. He was going to do this without any tax help, his own money. He changed his tune. He saw other people getting pilots, and he wanted a pilot as well. So he applied for a pilot. And he was offered a pilot by the town and by the school board. They weren't good enough. They didn't give him enough. He wanted more. He eventually got more. So, but if we look at several things that have happened over the years, in April 2016, he said he wants those involved in the conspiracy against I-Square to be held accountable. He never did state who they were. In May of 2017, the headline said I-Square is into another squabble, and he told Supervisor Seeley at the time that he was canceling his 25-year pilot because it was impeding him and keeping him from building. So in March of 2021, said he refuses to go to the planning board. He will not meet with the planning board. But in that interview with Channel 10, he said he always does everything with the zoning board. He always meets with the planning board. He does not. He has been very impolite to all the members of the town board through all these years. He has not complied with his agreements. He has not met his commitment to put up an entire slate of 7 buildings. He's got 5 buildings. They were supposed to be done in 5 years. It's now 12 years hence. So I'd like to say there's another side to the story, and I wish people would look at the entire thing and understand what's going on. He has to follow codes. He needs to follow codes. Everybody else does. He's no different. And if he did follow the codes, follow the rules, do the planning board, do the zoning board, he wouldn't have any problems. So, thank you.
Thank you, Craig. Okay, just to comment, the deputy supervisor and myself don't have any jurisdiction over the site plan at I-Square. So you are correct, and it's a planning board issue, and if Mike Nolan wants to fix the issues he has over there, he goes in front of the planning board, not this board. So there's no difficulties that we can't create any difficulties from Mr. Nolan. So those are solved by the planning board. So thank you. That is the final person on the list. Is there anybody here that would like to speak under public input that hasn't had an opportunity? Oh, I'm sorry, Larry. I skipped right over the top of you. So, sorry, Larry. I crossed you off. My bad.
So, this is Larry DeMeo, 34 Delta Terrace in Somerville. Title of my presentation is Replace Electronic Voting Systems. In the majority of counties in our country and our state, our voting systems use electronic equipment that is cloud accessible to the internet. The two components most vulnerable to cyber manipulation are the electronic poll pads and the electronic tabulators. I've been a poll worker for several years and can verify that the electronic poll pads used to register voters at a poll site are cloud accessible. The cloud icon is clearly visible on the poll pad screen. This cloud portal enables malevolent agents who have access to our inflated and corrupted voter rolls to find out in real time which of those registered voters have voted and which ones haven't. so they know how many illegal votes they can access to change the outcome of an election. In previous presentations to this same board, I've also provided evidence, including a report from a Homeland Security government agency, of not only the potential vulnerability of electronic tabulators to cyber infiltration, but also actual examples of those incursions before, during, and after the 2020 general election. Other investigators have reported similar incursions around the 2022 midterm election. By accessing the electronic tabulators, criminals can easily add illegal votes, subtract legal votes, or flip legal votes to illegal votes before, that is during early elections, on or after Election Day, while the votes are still being counted prior to certification. It is therefore imperative, if we wanted to restore free and fair elections in our country, to replace these electronic voting systems. My alternative, and that of many like-minded patriots, is to use counterfeit-proof paper ballots, same-day voting on Election Day, with few reasonable exceptions, and same-day counting of votes on Election Day by poll workers at the precinct level. Voters would be required to show valid IDs and to register at the poll site by signing their names in ink on notebook registers containing their prior signatures as verification. We do this currently in many of our local school board elections. For recent demonstration of the successful hand-counted paper ballot voting system, I am providing the following links about a statewide election on April 4th, 2023 in Osage County, Missouri, from a report entitled Missouri County Replaces Voting Machines with Hand-Counted Paper Ballots. Here's how one person made it happen and how you can do the same thing in your state. Proverbs 11:1 in God's Word reminds us that a false balance is abomination to the Lord, but a just weight is his delight. Thank you.
Thank you, Larry. Okay, apologize again for missing your name there. Anyone else? Okay, with that, we'll close oh, I'm sorry. Yes.
Tonight because of the public hearing agenda part with the proposed refuse district.
Yes. So,
I wasn't clear. Thank you for the card.
yep.
Which part of the agenda?
So I'll be calling the public hearings next. We do have 4 or 5 of them, but you are all set. Yep. All right, Madam Comptroller, you want to try to get through the financial report here before our public hearing?
The 2023 financial results as of September 30th. 75% of the year has elapsed, and the town's total expenses, actual expenditures, and encumbrances of $30,292,000 are lower than budget at 69.6%. Actual expenses are $27,636,000, or 63.5% of budget, and encumbrances are $2,656,000, or 6.1% of budget. Typically, encumbrances are still sizable at this point in the year as departments are committing to services, supplies, and commodities that will be needed for the remainder of the year. The general fund total expenses of $18,749,000 are below budget at 68.2%. The actual expenditures total $17,477,000, and encumbrances are $1,272,000. Encumbrances include townwide street lighting, legal fees, EMS services, and other contracted expenses throughout the town. Overall, the total expenses of the highway funds are $5,653,000, or 86.4% of budget, higher than the 75% of the year that has elapsed. Actual expenditures are $4,680,000, and encumbrances total $972,000. The costs continue to be driven by considerable expenses and encumbrances for gas, fuel, road salt, equipment parts, and road paving. Also included within the encumbered balance is $283,000 for ARPA-funded equipment. The library expenditures are lower than budget at 67.3%, a year-to-date total of $1,882,000. Expenses on the sewer fund of $2,576,000 are below budget at 58.6%. Actual expenses are $2,406,000, and encumbrances are $170,000. Stormwater drainage expenses are approximately 49% of budget for a total of $465,000. The general fund has received 80.1% of budgeted revenue at $21,151,000. Real estate tax of $12,007,000 has been collected. 97.7% of payment in lieu of tax revenue of $252,000 is in. The town has recorded 5 months of sales tax revenue in the amount of $2,775,000. Aid and incentive to municipality revenue of $613,000 was received in September. Recreation has received 100.4% of its budgeted revenue as of September 30th. Regarding the entire town, $34,774,000 or 82.2% of revenue and appropriated fund balance has been received to date. Approximately $18,260,000 is from real estate tax. At month end, the library has confirmed $2,778,000 or 99.4% of budget. 73.6% or $4,807,000 of revenue has been received by the highway funds. 97.6% of the sewer fund revenue or $4,257,000 has been received. Stormwater drainage has verified 99.5% of its budgeted revenue at $884,000. Page 3 of the financial report presents the third quarter year-to-date summary in comparison to the prior 6 years. As a reminder, the 2017 percentages include fire-related activities. Regarding expenditures by fund, which are shown on the top third of the page, the overall 69.6% of total budget spent and encumbered is comparable to the prior 5 years. The middle third of the page contains the revenue of the general fund, and the bottom third of the page allows for revenue comparison of other funds, with the last line reflecting the bottom line collective revenue and appropriated fund balance for the town. The 2023 general fund revenue reflects 80.1% of budget received to date, slightly higher than the 2022 revenue. Aid and incentives to municipality, the state aid payment receipt has switched from December to December and back to September, again accounting for the variance of the third quarter. The revenue and appropriated fund balance for the town as a whole is 82.2%, which is similar to the prior 4 years. The highway fund and sewer funds revenue is lower than previous years due to timing of receipts. In addition, American Rescue funds of $22,455,000 have been received. The use of this funding is restricted for the response to and relief of COVID-19. This funding must be allocated to projects no later than December 31st, 2024, and expended by December 31st, 2026. Approximately $18,419,000, or 82%, has been allocated to projects, and $8,672,000 has been expended to date. This concludes the September 2023 financial report.
Thank you, Madam Comptroller. Any questions or comments? Okay, I'll take a motion to adopt the financial report.
Moved.
Can I get a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Okay, the financial report has been accepted. We will now move on to the public hearings for tonight. Madam Clerk, could you please call the first public hearing?
Public hearing number 1 on the matter of proposed change to local law authorizing a partial real property tax exemption for seniors.
Okay, motion to open the public hearing.
Moved.
Can I get a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Okay, this hearing is now open. We do not have anybody signed up. Is there anybody here that would like to speak on this particular public hearing? Okay, any questions or comments from the board at this time? All right, we'll now take a motion to close the public hearing.
Moved.
Can I get a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Okay, this hearing is now closed. Madam Clerk, could you please now move on to the public hearing item for board action?
Resolution number 1, proposing change to local law authorizing a partial real property tax exemption for seniors.
Okay, I'll take a motion to adopt.
Moved.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Okay, we will get an explanation from Amy.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. So the changes proposed this evening are to the real property tax exemption for seniors. The first change is that this would allow for renewal applications to be received late due to certain extenuating circumstances. In the event that these circumstances occur, the resident would be allowed to file the exemption renewal up to or on grievance day. Right now, they have to be in our office by March 1st, so they would have some additional time if they meet those extenuating circumstances. The other change is that the state of New York has revised how they calculate income for this exemption. The state has allowed for municipalities to adopt a provision allowing IRA distributions to be counted as income. I suggest that the town do that in order to avoid an impact to our tax base that would further burden people with taxes. Additionally, if we exempt even more people from having to pay taxes, I estimated based on the exemptions that we have that this would amount to, at a minimum, an additional $38 million being exempted from property tax.
Okay, thank you. Any questions for Madam Assessor at this time? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Okay, this resolution has been adopted. We'll now move on to the next item for public hearing.
Public hearing number 2 on the matter of proposed change to local law authorizing a partial real property tax exemption for alternative veterans.
Okay, motion to open the public hearing.
Moved.
Can I get a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Okay, the hearing is now open. We do not have anybody signed up for this public hearing. Is there anybody here that is not signed up that would like to speak on this matter? Okay, do we have any questions or comments from the board at this time? Okay, we will now take a motion to close the public hearing. Can I get sorry, go ahead.
Moved.
Okay, can I get a second?
Second.
Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Okay, this public hearing is now closed. Madam Clerk, please read the board item regarding this public hearing.
Resolution number 2, proposing change to local law authorizing a partial real property tax exemption for alternative veterans.
Okay, motion to adopt.
Moved.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Okay, Madam Assessor?
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. So the change to this exemption would bring us in line with the maximums that the county has already adopted. So these maximums, it's just the maximum amount of assessed value that can be exempted when somebody has this veterans exemption. This would extend the benefits a little bit for people. It's not a huge change. I estimated that it would impact the taxable value about $2.6 million. This is a very insignificant amount. And this would also make it a little easier to administer this exemption, as we would have the same limits as the county. And this would help our veterans a little bit, especially now that we're at 100% value with our assessments.
Okay, thank you. Any questions or comments? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Okay, this resolution has been adopted. Now, open up our next public hearing. Madam Clerk?
Public hearing number 3 on the matter of proposed change to local law authorizing a partial real property tax exemption for persons with disabilities and low income.
Okay, motion to open the public hearing.
Moved.
Can I get a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Okay, this public hearing is open. Once again, we do not have anybody signed up. Is there anybody here that wishes to speak on this matter? Okay, any board have any questions or comments at this time? Okay, we'll take a motion to close the public hearing.
Moved.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Okay, this public hearing is now closed. Madam Clerk, please read the resolution for this public hearing.
Resolution number 3, proposing change to local law authorizing a partial real property tax exemption for persons with disabilities and low income.
Okay, motion to adopt.
Moved.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Okay, Madam Assessor?
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. So just like the senior exemption, the state also changed how they are calculating income for the disability exemption. In the same manner, we are allowed to basically count IRA distributions, just as in with the senior exemption, for this exemption. This is just to be consistent so that we're administering both of these exemptions in the same way and calculating income across these two exemptions the same.
Okay, thank you. Any questions, comments? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Okay, this resolution has been adopted. Next item for public hearing.
Public hearing number 4 on the matter of a proposed local law authorizing extension of the real property tax exemption for volunteer firefighters and volunteer ambulance workers under certain circumstances.
Okay, motion to adopt.
Moved.
Motion to open public hearing. Moved by Katrina Freeman. Second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Okay, this hearing is now open. Our fourth public hearing with nobody signed up. Is there anybody here that would like to speak on this matter? Okay. Any comments or questions from the board at this time? Okay, take a motion to close the public hearing.
Moved.
Can I get a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Okay, this hearing is now closed. Madam Clerk, please read the item for board action.
Resolution number 4, proposing a local law authorizing extension of the real property tax exemption for volunteer firefighters and volunteer ambulance workers under certain circumstances.
Okay, motion to adopt.
Moved.
Can I get a second?
Second.
All those in favor? Madam Assessor?
Thank you. So the state this year decided to consolidate this exemption. They used to have one for kind of a bunch of different counties across the state. I think we were K. So they decided to consolidate them all into one. The 466A has been revised and is just going to be a statewide exemption now. So we have to adopt this before 2025. The county's adopting it this year, so I wanted to adopt it this year. It also came with a couple of extensions. We can now offer these benefits to surviving spouses. This is in certain circumstances. So I would like to offer those, sort of enhance the exemption with those benefits as well. This is similar to a veteran's exemption where a surviving unremarried spouse can have these exemptions if their spouse passes away.
Okay.
Thank you. Any questions or comments? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Okay, this resolution has been adopted. Madam Clerk, our last item for public hearing.
Public hearing number 5 on the matter of establishing the Lakeside Refuge District.
Okay, motion to open the public hearing.
Move.
Can I get a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Okay, this hearing is now open, and we have at least 2 speakers for this one. So, Jeff Murphy, you are the first contestant here.
Hey, Jeff Murphy, 80 Lakely Road. Mr. Supervisor and Board, thank you for taking the time to hear about this. I just wanted to give you a little perspective. I helped kind of organize the signatures for the Lakeside District, which is 80 houses for Lakely Road, Parkmere, Hillhurst, and Hartstone. So a small, kind of a similarly situated community. It was something kind of grassroots. Everyone seemed interested as we went around the neighborhood and talked and realized that we had probably about 2/3 of residents that wanted to do this. And in fact, 58% of those signed the petition, which is had to be notarized, as you know, and was a complicated process to organize in the winter. Only 5% explicitly said no. So I just wanted to give you that perspective. And then about 28% didn't respond at all. So some of those folks were on vacation or may have taken the correspondence and probably put it in the recycling bin, didn't realize what it was. So we have about 2/3 that were in support of this, and 1/3 that either was a no or didn't respond. So you know all the reasons why it's a good idea. In the spirit of the impressive recognition that you got today for environmental reasons, there's that aspect of it. It's cost savings. It's one company coming through the neighborhood to do a garbage day instead of 3, which we have today, and it's it's three companies, but it's 6 times a week with recycling and garbage. So you can, that's kind of the main thing that I think is important to note, that this would take it to one. And it's just, all those reasons make it seem like it's a compelling idea to adopt. So hopefully you have your support. I know there's some folks that don't want it to happen, but the majority of the folks in the neighborhood are in support of it, and I wanted to come and just share that perspective and collecting the process so that you're aware that it wasn't 58% signed the petition, but it doesn't mean 42% are against it. It was only a couple of folks that explicitly said no, and then a lot of non-responses. So that's kind of all I really wanted to share with you, so I'll respect your time.
Thanks for your time, and thanks for your efforts in the petitioning. So thank you. Okay, we did have one request. If you want to just come up and state your name and address. And yep.
Thank you for allowing me to do this. My name is Sandy Simpson. My husband Kirk and I live on Lake Lee, and we have lived in our home since 2002. And someplace along the way here, I guess, we missed that this was still continuing forward. We were one of the non-participants in not responding with a notarized request of whether we supported it or not. We had talked to several of our neighbors. The company that we work with right now, Waste Management, we've been very happy with over the years, many years. And my understanding last fall when the discussion had begun, and then the group that got together did a really nice job of trying to get information out, put a brochure together. And I looked through those resources and read through the law, and I understand, I think, pretty well how it is that this would proceed. But we were notified, I can't remember if it was by email or whatever, that Waste Management would most likely not participate in a bid, would not respond. And for my husband and I, by default, that means we lose the company that we really like working with. The other part that isn't really clear to me is, are we doing it cost only? Are we doing it because of services? For example, one of the things is not all those companies that may participate in the bid pick up recycling every week, and ours does right now. And we'd like to continue that. I know that there's been a concern, and we do have kids in the neighborhood, especially on these 3 streets. There's a lot of activity going on all the time, and you want it to be safe. We certainly support that. But it isn't just 3 garbage companies. When you look at Amazon, FedEx, UPS, USPS, all our tree services, because our neighborhood is heavily treed, and we've almost every month there's something going on there. And also just normal traffic and construction, things that we're doing, lawn services. I don't know that correcting which garbage company we work with is going to resolve all of that as well. So I feel like I'm a little bit behind the 8 ball here, because when we didn't hear anything else going on, we believed that this had been tabled and wasn't moving forward. I really do thank you for sending this card so that we could at least voice our concern. And it just happens by circumstance we're the very last house within this designated area that we did not ask to be part of. So I hope that you will give consideration to either look at this further. If there is 58% that have responded, but many more haven't, to give us time to look at why didn't they respond. We've had a lot of turnover in the neighborhood as well. People have moved. So maybe that's part of it. But for my husband and I, we can speak that we do not support this, and we would like to continue to be able to choose the vendor that will take our refuse. Thank you for your time.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, is there anybody else that did not sign up for this that would like to speak? Okay, any questions or comments from the board at this time?
Mr. Supervisor,
Yes.
can you read into the record the letter that we got? Oh, and there's some more people to speak.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, absolutely. Come on up.
They said that a lot of people didn't respond. The way we understood it.
Okay, I'm sorry, I'm going to slow you down just for 1 second. If you could just say your name and address so I can.
I'm Sue Sheehan. I live at Parkmere Drive.
Okay.
When that went out, they said if you wanted to respond to this new type of collection, you were supposed to get a paper signed and notarized. It did not say that we were not interested in it. So we did not bother to get up anything. We just thought that it depended on how many came in and what the percentage was that agreed to it. So when he says a large number of people did not respond, it's one of us that felt that we didn't need to. We had 90 bags of leaves last year. And to get rid of 90 bags of leaves is kind of difficult. So we need a service that's going to take care of that. I don't know what we're going to do if they have a service that's maybe less expensive or efficient, that would really put a bind on us. So basically, what I'm trying to say is, we thought by not responding, we were just saying we didn't agree with the process. So he's saying that a number of people didn't respond. Well, maybe there are people like us that just said, well, we like the way it is right now. We don't need to have another one service.
Okay, so you're
I'm
not,
sorry.
so you're not in support of it?
I am not in support
Okay,
of it.
okay, thank you. Okay, is there anybody else? So we did receive emails today. I can read this one into public record. Dear Supervisor Fitzpatrick, my name is Mike Deal, residing at 155 Lakely Road. I doubt I'll be at the meeting tonight, so I wish to share my thoughts as follows. My wife and I oppose the creation of a lakeside refuse district, primarily because it breaches our freedom of choosing the server. We see it as yet another infusion of government across all levels and aspects of daily life that should be in the realm of the private citizen. While not frequent thing, we change services for the better each time. I've been retired for 2 years, and I disagree with anyone complaining about multiple trash service providers being noise issue. It's significantly less than the lawn service work and whole house generator test runs. If a weighted vote that I understand brings into reality, my suggestions are: 1, to try it over a few years probationary period, access, cost, and level of service, and 2, to insist on a rollout about totes for both trash and recyclables. In closing, we delighted and grateful to have you as, sorry, I didn't read this before. This is not a self-promotion, so you as supervisor, whether we agree on this or not, respectfully, Mike Deal. So I have some questions for the live. This is, and Diana, this is something that we have to vote in prior to the budget approval. That's our time frame on this?
Correct. To get it into the 2024 budget, it needs to be voted on actually this month.
This month, okay. And we do have several other meetings this month as well.
Correct.
That we can discuss this, make sure that everybody's given their public input, and then vote on it at one of our other meetings this month, and still be in time frame. If we were to accept it, we still have time frame to get it into service for next year if it's accepted.
Correct. We have until October 30th to notify the county if we wish to add a district.
Okay, so town attorney, we can table this item at this time? We don't have to vote on this at this time until we...
Correct. The board does not need to vote tonight. However, they would need to vote before the end of the month.
Okay.
And the public hearing would need to be closed. Otherwise, it would need to be adequately noticed.
Okay, and then by closing the public hearing tonight, does that stop anybody else from supporting or not supporting this through email? Can we leave that?
You could set a time by which the board will stop accepting written comments.
Okay. So I guess, if you'd like to come up and just state your name and address, yep.
Mary Ann Mendel, Lakely Road. One thing I would like to see before we do go ahead is, what are the specifications that we're presenting to these companies to make sure those specifications meet our needs? I don't have any of that information.
Okay.
And I think we all need that. We can't vote on something with no data.
Yep.
I find that would not work for any of us, and it could be that whatever you do is going to be better, but I can't make any judgment. All I know is I have waste management, and I love what they do for me.
Okay.
And if somebody's better, that's fine. And I would not like to be only cost-driven. I'd like to be driven by service and...
And we did receive a bid, and we...
Yeah, so I guess my suggestion tonight is going to be to table this. We'll set a date for written input. I'll get Jeff and other residents the information from the bid so that you can share that to get out
Well, it should go to
get out to the
everybody.
residents. What's that?
It should go to the 80 families.
Yeah, so it's just a,
Send a mail.
so,
You know,
yeah. So I'll get that information out to the residents to see if we can, get some more positive or negative feedback. I think I'm a little surprised at some of the lack of feedback from 80 different houses. So my suggestion tonight's going to be to table it. That does not stop this from happening, or this isn't a no vote or a yes vote. It just gives us time. I live just outside of the boundaries of this neighborhood, so I'd be happy to walk around, try to get some more feedback as well, but keep within our limits to be able to pass this if we need to before that time frame. But this will give us the proper time to inform you guys of what you need, what information that you want.
Where are the
And then-
specs? I mean, how are we here voting on something? Like I heard all the
Well,
other people.
yes.
And there was a lot of data.
Yeah, so you guys, we vote on that. You guys sign the petition or don't sign, and then we listen to your public input. So we will share that, the bid with as many people as we can out there. So this obviously the savings came back almost 50%, I think, off of a normal bill. But we'll pass that, Jeff. Yeah.
I guess, sure, that's fine, but what size totes are you talking about? Well, maybe we can send that around again.
Yeah, so we'll table this tonight. We'll close the public hearing here. What is our last meeting in October, so I can set a date for written,
Well, I was just thinking about that. I apologize. So we have until the October 30th to notify the county. However, the preliminary budget is being presented at the October 24th meeting.
okay, so we need written, we'll set a October 20th, what's today, 17th?
There's the 17th.
So you said 22nd?
The 24th will be
Oh,
adopted.
24th, so we'll take written negative or feedback in general up until the 23rd, and then we'll bring this back for vote on the 24th. Is that acceptable?
Should probably be a piece of the preliminary budget as presented to the town board on the 24th. So
Okay.
it would be better to have that decision made because that budget will be what will move forward for the public hearing on November 9.
Okay, so the meeting prior to the 24th is what?
Thursday. This
Yeah, it's
week,
this
it's
Thursday.
It's
Thursday.
Thursday? Okay, well, we can call a special if we absolutely have
We
to.
don't have enough time to get it out
Mr.
there.
Supervisor, can we
Yeah.
also talk about the percentages? I think, thank you, Peter. Can we also just clarify the percentages? I think it's really important in something like this. So when we talk about the 58%, it's 58% of the property values, not the people. I just want to make sure that everyone understands that, and that's per New York State. That's not something we made up. So it sounds like maybe not everyone has all the information, and I really want to make sure that everyone has all the information before we make a decision. So is there another way we can get this information to the residents in 2 days? Like, mail's not going to work.
Yeah, we're not going to do it in 2 days, so we'll have to do a special meeting to vote on this.
Okay.
It's not fair for us or the residents
Okay.
in 2 days.
Thank you.
So we'll do we'll keep, if it's got to be presented on the 24th as yes or no, we will try to do a special this Friday. That gives us 3 or 4 more days. Or a special on Monday. Monday probably, right? The 23rd, that's not enough time to present to the board. Sorry, Diane, I don't want to put you under a crunch to change the whole budget, but I'd like to give everybody enough time. And Be bold, Diana, be bold.
Monday will be fine. I can, because hopefully we'll know if there are other changes to the budget prior to that, and it would just be making the one change for the refuse district,
Okay.
potentially on Tuesday morning.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
You're positive?
Yeah.
Depending on if
Okay.
you change.
So, yeah, so we'll accept written public input until the 22nd, which is Sunday, and then put together a special board meeting on the 23rd, if that's acceptable to everybody. All right.
So, Mr. Supervisor?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. So how are we going to share the information the residents are seeking in that time frame? Any thoughts? Should you and I get our sneakers out?
Yeah, I will walk. I think
I
Jeff will walk, and some
I'll do
families
it.
will walk. We'll just recruit some families, 80 houses. We can, if we have 4 families, that's 20. Yeah.
I'm just curious, is the threshold now changing just for what we were given? I personally participated in the door-to-door. We even, at our own expense, printed out all the pamphlets that everyone received in papers, and we had
Yep.
neighbors helping. We hit every door we could, we respect everyone's opinion. Everyone should definitely have a voice, but we were given a certain threshold to reach.
Yep.
And we surpassed it, and then the effort stopped because we surpassed the threshold. So I'm just curious, is that changing?
No. No, so that just, we listen to public input and make a decision off that. So the threshold is a step in the process. Yeah, so there's no, you don't, if someone says that they now, if, obviously the more support you have, the better judgment we can make on voting for it. So if there's people that said no, or you weren't able, or because you stopped and you're able to get 20 more signatures, or not signatures, sorry, but just written approvals, then obviously that's very helpful for us to make a decision that affects 80 residents, if that's making sense. So I will put together a mailer that's not going to be mailed that we will hand out, and I know that I will do it, and
Absolutely.
So basically, I mean, mostly what people are looking for obviously is cost and what they'll, what they'll offer everyone, right? I mean, like you said, totes, when do they pick up recycling? Leaves is an issue, obviously this time of year, so we'll make sure that that's all in there, what you're gonna get. I know it's not always cost, that thing, but for me, I know we're not gonna get feedback from everyone, but the more the merrier for me. I'd like the feedback, but I will, along with some other board members, definitely go door to door and drop off the information.
We know what the cost is, right? It's in the resolution.
Yep.
Yeah, we know what
Yeah, we know what the cost is, but people have questions about totes. If they're going to pick up leaves, they're going to pick up.
Yeah, services
I mean,
might
that's
be
a
different.
reasonable ask, and definitely, I would want to know the same thing as well.
Who
too.
knows that answer?
It was in the bid, I'm assuming, right?
So
Who did
the
the
people
bid?
that signed, the people that signed the petition would know. The people that didn't sign the petition wouldn't, well, the brochure had the information. Yeah.
Can you come to the mic so that, please?
We'll make sure we freshen that up for everyone, you know what I mean? We'll get that all and we'll get it out.
But one of the things that was unknown at the time of the petitions was cost and detail. So we made the petition include minimum standards. Everyone said, I like a full-size tote, I like weekly recycling, I want to have extra services if I want to add on, you might not be able to wheel it down to the curb yourself, so you can opt into that. There's leaf pickup was a big thing that was part of this, so there are efficiencies that you can gain from it. Now, it might not be, if you prefer waste management and the bid is going to another person, I understand that that could be an issue, but there are minimum standards, so it's not going to be a lower level of service. And in fact, when you have the town alongside of 80 residents, if there was an issue, I have Casella, and Casella has had problems in the last 2 years with missing pickups. I call and complain, and sometimes they come, sometimes they don't. But I think if the town calls and says, we got 80 residents who didn't get picked up, you're going to get better service. So there's a lot of efficiencies and positive reasons to do this. Even if the company is not your top choice, but you have somebody else, you're still going to get better service. And it's half the price. You don't pay sales tax. I mean, there's lots of reasons from economically to say this is a good thing. So keep all that in mind when you see I like the full-size tote, I like this, I like that. That's all part of the bid.
Yep.
And I think that could be shared.
Yeah, we'll share all that information. We'll get out, and obviously this is just listening to the residents and making sure we have all the information we can to make a decision.
I have a question, Mr. Supervisor. So let me see if I'm understanding you correctly. So when the pamphlet went out, it went out with a range of prices, the lowest to the highest, correct?
No
No
prices.
prices at all. Right. Can you come back? I'm sorry. Can you come back to the mic? I'm sorry. Getting your steps in. Getting your steps in.
So back in January through April, we canvassed the neighborhood. It was grassroots, like I said, talking to as many neighbors as we can. Granted, we didn't get to all 80 residents, but we got to over half of them face-to-face conversations. So that's how I know 2/3 were an enthusiastic yes, and that's why the 58% signed the petition. So to me, that's clearly without cost. They said this is a good idea. Now, if the RFP went out and it wasn't a good outcome, then we'd have a chance to say, well, let's not do it because the cost is too high or the service isn't going to meet the expectations of those people. But the petition was just like, we think it's a good idea. The town should run a process. It should be a competitive process. It should be thorough. It should meet these minimum specifications. And if that comes back and the bid is better than what you could pay privately, then you could adopt it. And there's a chance to say, no, we don't want to do it because the cost is way higher, or it can be once a month instead of weekly, like something that would be ridiculous that you'd say no.
Yeah, the minimums are an out clause trigger that, if it came back and it's higher than what they're paying or it doesn't give them, then, you're signing, in effect, a blind petition. So it just gives the residents a standard so that they can't, it's not final. There's a bit of an out clause there for them.
But the town of Pittsford has done this and was successful. They started with one district like we're proposing, and that's grown to dozens, I think, by now, through pot, and none of them have started and then been dissolved because it's been succspill.
Well, and thank you because it is a heavy lift with you and your wife did. You know what I mean? But it's good. It'll spill over. But I think the thing we got to know about mostly is the cost. How long is that guaranteed for? Is they going to, I don't want a refuge company coming in low and then next year bang you and add 20-30% on it either. So I'm very diligent in that as well too. I don't want that happening because I don't want them coming in low and then eventually start raising prices and then you start paying more than what you're paying. So it's a good idea. Let's see. But I would look, for me personally, the more people to give us comments, I would really. And I will. I think again, we'll be out there, and I'll start dropping stuff
get the
off.
information out.
So, Mr. Supervisor, because I still have one more question, Mr. Supervisor. Our efforts, the efforts of the board, is going to get out all this information that has been received through the bid, so everyone can have an idea of what the cost will be and what the services are.
Correct.
Offered. Okay.
Yep. And we have a better idea. Obviously, I'm, listening to a few residents, and instead we'll get a broader view of what the actual opinion is of the neighborhood. So I think it's just we'll feel better with our vote when we do it.
And then one last question.
Yep.
The information that we're getting, we're asking people to give their input written. That will be read into record?
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. So obviously, like I said, this is not an end or this is not a pass or a fail. This is just an opportunity to get a little bit more public input so that everybody on the board is comfortable with whatever vote they have and that the residents have as much information as possible. So, but we do appreciate all the effort that you guys put in this neighborhood, even though you cut my street out of it, but that's all right. All right, so I'm going to take a motion to hold open. Yep,
Can I
sorry.
ask for
go ahead.
one more?
You can do, yep, we can
Thank you, Mr.
talk all night.
Supervisor. The other thing I also want to make sure that everyone understands, because I feel like there's a little bit of an information gap here. And I was an early supporter of this, so I do think this is a good idea. I just want to make sure everyone in the process understands. So at the end of the day, for those 80 households, whether you particularly like this or not, if it passes, you are part of the district. There's no opting out. So I just want everyone to have a clear understanding of how this works. It is not government driven. It is constituent-driven, it is resident-driven, but once it's codified, it unifies that whole district for the term of that contract. Am I correct, Town Attorney?
That's,
Okay.
yes, that's
Thank you.
correct.
That's why I'm asking for this extra time, and I'm willing to put my sneakers on. I really want to make sure that everybody understands this, because it is kind of a big deal. Thank you.
Yeah, we're not going door to door trying to push one way or the other, just get information. So, we don't, none of us live in the neighborhood. We don't have a stake personally in this, so, this will be driven by the residents. So, I will take, everybody good? Kimmy, you sure?
Good.
All right. I'll take a motion to hold the written part of the public hearing open till August, or what did I say, October
23rd.
Sunday?
22nd.
22nd, thank you. And we will schedule a special for the October 27th. So I'll hold open the public hearing for written input until October 22nd, and close the in-person public hearing at that time. So I'll take a motion for that.
Moved.
Can I get a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Okay, this portion of the public hearing is now closed. Written will be open till October 22nd, and you will see us in the neighborhood. And Jeff, any neighbors that want to participate, just let me know. So, but I'll get all the information. We'll do a nice pamphlet so that everybody has very clear of what they're getting and not getting. All right. Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. Yep, supervisor@irondequoit.gov. Yep. So, sorry. Thank you very much for pointing that out. All right, so that closes all our public hearings. Madam Clerk, we'll move on to minutes.
Approval of minutes, September 12, 2023, the workshop meeting.
Okay, motion to accept.
Moved.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Okay, any questions regarding these minutes or concerns? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay.
My apologies.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. I'm having trouble hearing all of the board council members' votes. Can everyone please make sure their microphone's on? I'll do the same. And Madam Clerk, if you could run a roll call vote, please.
All right. For the September 12, 2023 workshop meeting. Councilmember Weiner.
Yeah. Councilman Weiner, are you?
Aye.
Aye. Okay.
Supervisor Fitzpatrick.
Aye.
Councilmember John Pettifone.
I was absent that evening.
Pardon me?
I was absent that evening on
Oh,
that one.
yes.
Thank you.
Under the town code, it has to either be aye, nay, or abstention due to a financial conflict.
so aye.
So if there's,
You can say no.
Aye.
okay,
Fine.
thank you.
I just wanted to note that, that's all. So I'm an aye. Okay.
With a note.
Well, yeah.
And Councilmember Romeo.
Aye.
Councilmember Freeman.
I was absent. I've been out sick, so that will be an abstention with a nay.
Okay, these minutes have been accepted. We'll now move on to the next minutes.
September 19, 2023, the regular town board meeting.
Okay, motion to accept.
Moved.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Any questions or comments on the regular town board meeting? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed say nay.
I abstain.
Okay, the minutes are accepted.
And the September 26, 2023, the special town board meeting.
Okay, motion to accept.
Moved.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Okay, any questions or comments about these minutes? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
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 I was absent, but vote aye.
Okay, thank you. Any
Aye.
nays?
I abstain.
Okay, thank you.
And Madam Town Clerk, Councilperson Freeman, I just want to remind you the town code only allows abstentions if there's a financial conflict. So if there's not a financial conflict, then that you wish to disclose for the reason to abstain from the vote, then Madam Clerk, please count those abstentions as nays.
As I have stated to this board before, just because we have it in the code does not make it legal. I am abstaining because I was out sick. It cannot be nay and it cannot be yay because I was not there. I don't have the information.
Okay.
And that is not a new rule. That's a part of Robert's Rules of Order.
All right, well, the minutes are accepted, and we will now move on for items for board action.
Oh, Mr. Supervisor, I have a question about the Lakeshore Refuge District. Do we have to table the action that is listed here?
We took a motion to keep it open and to move it. We can,
The public hearing was held open for acceptance of written comments. So because the public hearing is still open, there can be no final action taken. But if the board would like, they can make a motion to officially table that resolution.
are you requesting that we table
Yes,
that? Okay,
I
we'll
make a
take a
motion
motion
that
to table the resolution for Refuse District.
Move.
Okay, second. Okay, we do not have a second to move that, so it just stands as is.
Since the public hearing hasn't been closed, the board can't take any action,
Yep.
and there will be a special meeting called for the board's further review of this action.
Okay, thank you. All right, we'll now move on to items for board action.
Item number 6, authorizing the permanent appointment of a network technician.
Okay, motion to accept.
Moved.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Okay, Jason?
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. Garrett Miller was appointed provisionally as the network technician in December of 2022. He has since passed all civil service qualifications, and he is eligible for a permanent appointment, and that's what we're requesting by this resolution.
Okay, thank you. Anyone have any questions or comments? Kevin, anything to add?
Sure, Mr. Supervisor. I guess I'd like to endorse this. Garrett has consistently showed exemplary performance in his duties. He has proven to be an asset to the town, and throughout his time, he's not only met and exceeded expectations, but has frequently gone above and beyond, filling in to roles and duties that were not initially in his purview. He has worked seamlessly across departments to help bring a more cohesive IT experience, and he seems to be well liked, if I can say that, by the town at large. So, I guess I support this.
Thank you very much. Anyone have any questions or comments for Kevin?
Kevin, is he here tonight?
He's in the basement.
But somewhere
Yeah,
that
he's in
he
the-
can hear us but not see
yeah.
us, so we can
He can see us.
congratulate him after we vote. Okay.
Yeah. All right, anyone else? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Okay, this resolution has been adopted. Garrett is in the basement filming, so we'll give him a round of applause. All right, congratulations, Garrett. Okay, Madam Clerk, we'll move on to the next item.
Item number 7, authorizing the appointment of a senior dispatcher in the Department of Public Works.
Okay, motion to adopt.
Moved.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Okay, Jason?
Thank you once again. This position is created by, the vacancy was created by a promotion of our previous senior dispatcher. Andrew Foley has worked for the department for quite some time. He's been waiting and qualified for this promotion. He has passed approval through the Civil Service Commission for a non-competitive promotion. So although it's a competitive title, he does not need to take the exam because he is the only one qualified for this promotion. So we would seek your approval to promote Andrew to senior dispatcher tonight.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Albert, sir, would you like to say anything?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Supervisor. Just like to say that Andrew is a graduate. He's been with us for almost 8 years, but he's a graduate from RIT in criminal justice and has continued with his experience in public communications. Andrew currently oversees the Department of Public Works Communication Center, including the training and oversight of new dispatchers and any other staff that is assisting in the center. In addition to one of his responsibilities is working hard on our revenue fund chargebacks. This can include chargebacks from services from FEMA, New York State, Monroe County Department of Transportation, and other government agencies that we have MIAs with. Andrew has been very instrumental in providing priority communications during storms. His ability to use independent judgment when dispatching crews, depending on location and their capabilities, is top-notch. I definitely recommend Andrew for this position.
Thank you very much. Anyone have any questions or comments for Jason or Mr. Albert? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
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 All opposed say nay. Okay, this resolution has been adopted. Andrew is here tonight. Do you want to stand and congratulations on your promotion? Okay, thank you very much. Okay, next item, Madam Clerk.
Item number 8, authorizing the reappointment of a member to the Town of Irondequoit Board of Assessment Review.
Okay, motion to adopt.
Moved.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Okay, Madam Assessor.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. So this resolution would reappoint Renee Pritchard to the Board of Assessment Review for another 5-year term. Renee was originally appointed to the board in 2020 to carry out the remainder of a term. And she's done a great job. She's a local appraiser here in town, and she has an interest in being on the board again, and I would love to have her, so I hope she will be reappointed.
Okay, thank you. Anyone have any questions or comments? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
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 All opposed say nay.
Nay.
Okay, this resolution has been adopted. Next item.
Item number 9, declaring certain equipment surplus property.
Okay, motion to adopt.
Moved.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Okay, Town Attorney will handle this one.
This is a resolution to declare a plotter printer surplus property to permit the town to dispose of the printer. The printer is obsolete, it can't be repaired or otherwise made useful.
Okay, thank you. We had a lot of plotter talk at the workshop. Does anybody have any questions or comments this time around? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
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 All opposed say nay. Okay, this resolution has been adopted. Next item.
Item number 10, calling for a public hearing on a local law implementing a moratorium on short-term rentals.
Okay, motion to adopt.
Moved.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Okay, Town Attorney.
This is a resolution to call a public hearing on a local law to provide a moratorium on short-term rentals. Residents have expressed concern over short-term rentals, so this will allow the time to have a study period to consider the issues and possible new regulations. Those on the rental registry before the moratorium takes effect will not be impacted by the moratorium.
Okay, thank you. And as explained earlier in the public input, the moratorium can last up to 1 year, and short-term rental is described as anything under 30 days. So with that, is there any questions or comments?
Mr. Supervisor,
Yes.
may I clarify 2 things with the town attorney? So this comes into effect as soon as we vote, is that correct, if we were to pass it?
Correct. If as long as that's what the law says, it takes effect immediately. It'll actually be upon filing with the Secretary of State.
Okay. And so you also made a mention that people had to be currently on the rental registry. So if you're engaged in this activity, but you failed to get onto the rental registry, you are not grandfathered in.
That's correct.
Thank you.
Yeah, so we had a meeting this morning. We're going through the database, and they have up until the time that we pass this to comply under our current regulations for rentals. If they do not do that, then they will not be grandfathered in.
Thank you.
So, yes. So, any other questions or comments? Okay, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Okay, this resolution has been adopted. Next item.
Item number 11, authorizing the supervisor to enter into an agreement for professional services with the town engineer.
Okay, motion to adopt.
Moved.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Okay, town attorney?
This is a resolution to enter into an updated agreement with Labella for professional services with the town engineer. The primary change to the updated agreement is to reflect new rates.
Okay, and this does not affect the contract that we have with them for our community development. This is strictly, the contract is already in place. It's just a change, and I think the first contract was signed in 2014. So obviously things have changed drastically over that period. So any questions or comments? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
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 All opposed say nay. Okay, this resolution has been adopted. Next item.
Item number 12, authorizing the calling of a public hearing concerning the 2024 preliminary budget.
Okay, motion to adopt.
Moved.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Okay, Madam Comptroller?
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. This resolution will call the public hearing for the 2024 preliminary budget to be held on Thursday, November 9th at 7:35 for public comment on the budget. The public hearing is required by law.
Okay, thank you. Any questions or comments?
And Diana, when do we have to have the budget? What's the date? Do we have a date on that as well, too? When you have to, when you have to, when we have to finalize it and you have to report it to the county?
The preliminary budget, we have to publish a minimum of 10 days prior to the public hearing to allow time for the public to know. So our plan right now is to have the preliminary budget approved on October 24th.
Oh, October 24th, okay. Okay,
All right.
thank you.
And we put some added pressure on you tonight, so we apologize for that, but anyone else? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
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 All opposed say nay. Okay, this resolution has been adopted. Next item.
Item number 13, authorizing an agreement with the Bonadeo Group for annual audits of the town financial statements and employee deferred compensation plan for 2023 through 2027.
Okay, motion to adopt.
Moved.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Okay, Madam Comptroller?
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. This resolution would allow for a contract for audit services with the Bonadeo Group. Our current contract expired with the completion of the 2022 financial statements. We did issue a request for proposals on August 11th. We received 2 responses, and Bonadeo has been our auditor, and they came in at a little better cost.
Okay, thank you. Any questions? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
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 All opposed say nay. This resolution has been adopted. Next item.
Item number 14, authorizing agreement for elevator maintenance and appropriation of fund balance.
Okay, motion to adopt.
Moved.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Okay, Madam Comptroller?
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. This resolution would authorize a $5,000 draw from the general fund balance to be used to make repairs to the elevator located at the town hall to ensure proper working condition and safety.
Okay, thank you. Any questions or comments? Okay, it's used quite frequently, so good to have it up and working. All those in favor say aye.
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 All opposed say nay. Okay, this resolution has been adopted. Next item.
Item number 15, authorizing the supervisor to enter into an agreement to provide rental and cleaning services for various town facilities.
Okay, motion to adopt.
Moved.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Okay, Madam Comptroller?
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. This resolution would authorize the supervisor to enter into an agreement with Cintos Corporation to provide mat rental services for various town facilities. including the town hall, the public safety building, library, community center, and the central garage. Entryway mats minimize the amount of rainwater, mud, snow, slush, and salt being carried into the building.
Okay, thank you. Any questions or comments? I would just like to comment on our custodian, Scott, who's done an amazing job since he's been here. So if you've been in the building before, you've noticed the difference in steps and the cleanliness of our town hall. So kudos to him and his and Darwin's staff of custodians here at Town Hall. Anyone else?
I agree completely. You can, upon entry, you can see the difference.
Very obvious,
Absolutely,
right?
yes.
He's
Especially the stairs.
taking a lot of self-initiative to get things done, so no sitting around. He finds something to do and gets it done. He even comes in on the weekends when needed. So all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Okay, this resolution has been adopted. Next item.
Item number 16, authorizing attendance to New York State Police Crimes Against Children Seminar in Albany, New York.
Okay, motion to adopt.
Moved.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Okay, Chief Peters.
Yes, sir. This is for one of our investigators to go to the Crimes Against Children seminar. Topics included having survivors of crimes against children, presentation, medical evaluation of child victims, nurse reviews, task force investigations in the field, human trafficking, all the stuff that's become more prevalent, and something that's obviously very important for our work.
Okay, thank you. Anyone have any questions or comments? Thank you for making this training available to our officers. Obviously, there's a huge increase in training that we've been supplying our officers since you've been on board, and I think it's vital for our community. So thank you to doing that. I know we have a couple other ones coming up, so same thing on those. Anyone else have any questions or comments? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Okay, this resolution has been adopted. Next item.
Item number 17, authorizing attendance at the Women's Leadership Institute.
Okay, motion to adopt.
Moved.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Okay, Chief Peters.
Yes, this is a class for actually leadership, women in leadership. It's a seminar put on by the International Association of Chiefs of Police, and it's provided for unique challenges and situations that women leaders face, especially in the police field. So I thought it'd be a great chance for get one of our captains there to give us a little bit more experience.
Okay, thank you. Again, thank you for all the training, and we have some wonderful female officers over there on staff, so hopefully she can pass some of what she learns there on to our female officers. So, anyone else? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. This resolution has been adopted. Next item.
Item number 18, authorizing a non-binding letter of understanding with the West Irondequoit School District to promote school safety.
Okay, motion to adopt.
Moved.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Okay, Chief Peters.
Yes, this is it's a letter that was actually signed last year. We're actually upgrading it, and it's more of just a great relationship between the West Irondequoit Central School District and the Police Department with respect to ensuring a safe school environment.
Okay, thank you. Any questions or comments? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay.
Nay.
Okay, this resolution has been adopted. Next item.
Item number 19, authorizing a memorandum of understanding with the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms for participation in Joint Firearms Task Force.
Okay, motion to adopt.
Moved.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Okay, Chief Peters.
Yes, this is one of the goals that I came into, actually get one of our officers onto some of the regional task force. This was the first one, especially with dealing with the amount of violence, gun violence that we've been dealing in the community. Great idea, great opportunity for an officer to be attached to this task force for the next 2 years. They will be fully sworn in by the U.S. Marshals as a task force officer after passing a federal background check, get their security clearance. They'll also help with, a lot of our investigations are taken to the federal level, so that'll give us another tool to, expand our professional capabilities of the police department, plus the fact that they'll also reimburse any type of seizure money that we get in these investigations, plus overtime for up to almost $20,000 a year.
Okay, thank you, Chief. And as mentioned in the workshop, this is an addition to the granite, not a replacement of granite.
Correct. That'll be coming up next.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else have any questions or comments? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. This resolution has been adopted. Next item.
Item number 20, calling for a public hearing on a local law implementing a moratorium on issuance of secondhand dealer licenses.
Okay, motion to adopt.
Moved.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Okay, Chief Peters?
Yeah, obviously this has come to light since I've taken the position. It's also found out that doing a lot of research, our town code is behind. Definitely need things to be more in line with New York State. Like I said, New York State law shows there's a lot more regulations in place, and I think it just with the existing businesses that we have in town, get them back in line, and anything that wants to be opened up in the future, that we can make sure that we're watching these businesses properly.
Okay, and as mentioned in the workshop, Chief, the town has not been even acting on the code up to what the code is.
Yeah,
to this time anyway, right?
Monroe County has actually just updated all of their laws, and actually a lot of their laws are almost the same as ours. So quite frankly, I want to be a leader in the county to make sure that we are on the up and up and make sure these are taken care of.
Okay, and we weren't collecting fees and
No,
stuff
we weren't
that should
collecting
have been,
fees,
correct?
issuing security bonds for them. So obviously that's required by New York State. So I want to make sure that we're doing that to protect the citizens that are using these businesses.
Great, thank you for looking into this and handling this. Anyone else? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Okay, this resolution has been adopted. Next item.
Item number 21, calling for a public hearing in accordance with Section 202B of the town law to consider authorizing pump station upgrades within the town of Irondequoit's consolidated sewer district.
Okay, motion to adopt.
Moved.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Okay, Mr. Albert?
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. This resolution is to request a public hearing in the Consolidated Sewer District for the refurbishment of the Bellhurst Pump Station. This will be our last of the current 28 pump stations to refurbish at this time. The station was built in 1954 and the last update was in 1999.
Okay, thank you. Any questions or comments? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Okay, this resolution has been adopted. Next item.
Item number 22, calling for a public hearing in accordance with Section 202B of the town law to consider authorizing drainage improvements within the town of Irondequoit town-wide drainage district.
Okay, motion to adopt.
Moved.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Okay, Mr. Albert?
I don't think.
Yeah, can you turn your
On.
mic on, Tom? Sorry. It might need new batteries. Kevin, do you have any batteries?
Did I just have yes?
In your,
There we go.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. Sorry about that. This resolution would request a public hearing in the town-wide drainage district to make improvements to our roadside gutter drainage and gutter catch basins. This would coincide with our road resurfacing program and also help during our MS4 stormwater reporting system.
okay, thank you. Any questions or comments?
Mr. Albert, was there a specific area in town that we were focusing on with this dollar?
So next year, our target area would be the Eagle Ridge, Bayview area. I'm sorry, Eagle Rock, Bayview area. So that'd be our gutter replacement over there, and then if anything is left over, as we hope, we will then now start on Winona Boulevard area.
And I'm assuming, and I'm sort of saying this for some of the residents that have stuck around, that there is a plan, and
Yes.
we're moving forward around the town, and we obviously can't do the whole town in any one given year. So have confidence that our DPW crews and leadership there has a plan, they're following that plan, they're moving around, and then obviously emergencies happen as well.
Yes, that is correct. Not only will it be for gutters and drainage, we'll also look at our storm system water discharge and try to improve that as best as possible, along with the gutters.
Yeah, we've made considerable investments in our infrastructure over the last 2 years, so we are catching up, and it's non-fancy and no ribbon cutting, but it's being done. So, thank you to our DPW for planning it out and getting it done here as we move on. So, anyone else?
Mr. Supervisor,
Yes.
could I ask just one last thing? And I'm
Absolutely.
going to make this ask to all the residents who are out there paying attention or maybe who talk to their neighbors. So taking care of catch basins is, believe it or not just a town responsibility. It's sort of an all-in responsibility. So I'm not saying this would prevent any flooding because, 100-year floods are happening every couple of years. It's a different universe. But when you're out walking your dog or riding your bike or whatever, and you notice there's a catch basin covered with leaves, or maybe one that's been grown over with some sod, or one that has a bunch of sticks and debris on it, you can either move that stuff aside yourself if you're so inclined, call up and let us know that it's blocked, but the better that system is available to capture stormwater, the better it will work for all of us. So that's sort of my shout out to all residents to partner with us and make this the best it can be. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Okay, this resolution has been adopted. Next item.
Item number 23, declaring certain equipment as surplus property.
Okay, motion to adopt.
Moved.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Okay, Mr. Albert?
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. This would just be surplus and equipment from our old refurbished Woodridge pump station.
Okay, any questions or comments? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Okay, this resolution has been adopted. Next item.
Item number 24, authorizing the capital improvement program for the town of Irondequoit for 2024 through 2029.
Okay, motion to adopt.
Moved.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Okay, Mr. Albert?
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. This would be the capital improvement program for the years 2024 to 2029. Involved or included in this program would be improvements here at Town Hall for our HVAC system, as well as green renewable upgrades, playgrounds to improve our safety equipment, the playground equipment to be safe, sidewalk improvements through town, which is also required under our CHIPS program. So any road that is done with New York State funds has to meet the ADA ramp requirement, as well as the detection pads. Our Seneca Road improvements, and the scope of work that goes with the rehabilitation. Also included are the sewer laterals and mains to continuously be proactive with early replacement of wastewater systems, pump station upgrades, and our roadside gutter drainage.
Okay, thank you. Any questions or comments?
Can I make a comment,
Yep.
Mr. Supervisor? So, once again, and I don't want to put Mr. Albert on the spot, but these things aren't just sort of pulled out of the air. These are long-term plans that are followed through year after year, that are charted. We have all these really nice maps, and they show where we've been each year and what kind of stuff we've done. So thank you, Mr. Albert, for getting all that information to the board. It's incredibly useful to have. And I also just want you to know that there is a plan, and we're working on it. Once again, we can't cover the whole town in 1 year, so we have to work on this together.
Yes, it was my pleasure to do that plan, and I thank my team over the foreman and all that over the DPW for their assistance, as well as our drafting technician. So, and yes, there's always a plan, always something to do, so we try hitting our target areas as best as we can with full impact.
Thank you.
Yeah, so we've asked department heads is to put plans together, 5, 10-year plans, also financial plans, so that the town can properly plan financially. So it's not a grab every budget season. We know what's coming. We can prepare and be ready for keeping our town up to date and infrastructure and other items. So thank you to all the department heads that have participated, and we look forward to continuing to grow that plan and being financially responsible so that we're prepared. Anyone else? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Okay, this resolution has been adopted. Next item.
Item number 25, authorizing the supervisor to execute agreement for Monroe County Snow and Ice Control Services for 2023-2024 season.
Okay, motion to adopt.
Moved.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Okay, Mr. Albert?
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. This is just our normal agreement between us and Monroe County Department of Transportation for reimbursement for any salt and/or plowing of their roads.
Okay,
within the
any
town of
questions?
Irondequoit.
Sorry? Any questions or comments? So we have several roads that run through our town that are county. We do maintain them with snow and ice, but they are not our roads, so we are reimbursed for those, plowing those. Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. I think I said that wrong, didn't I? No? Okay. Okay, either way, the resolution is passed, and we'll move on to the next one.
Item number 26, authorizing the town to undertake the reconstruction and stabilization of Seneca Road in the town, stating the maximum estimated cost thereof is $700,000, and authorizing the issuance of up to $700,000 in serial bonds of the town to finance said appropriation.
Okay, motion to adopt.
Moved.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Okay, Mr. Albert?
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. This is our request for the reconstruction and stabilization again for Seneca Road. Seneca Road has been unfortunately damaged throughout the years with improper drainage from previous administrations, previous years, as well as some slope stabilization. So we're asking for roughly $700,000 to assist in that reconstruction program. And there should be some information, actually a scope of the job in your packets.
Okay, thank you. Any questions or comments? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
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 All opposed say nay. Okay, this resolution has been adopted. Next item.
Item number 27, authorizing the reconstruction of existing sidewalks throughout the town, stating the maximum estimated cost thereof is $400,000, and authorizing the issuance of up to $400,000 in serial bonds of the town to finance said appropriation.
Okay, motion to adopt.
Moved.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Okay, Mr. Albert?
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. This is requesting, again, $400,000 towards our much-needed sidewalk replacement, and again, ADA ramps and detection pad installation. As mentioned before, any road that is done with New York State CHIPS fund or New York Pave must meet ADA compliance of proper ramps, as well as, again, the detection pads. This will also add any type of, replace any type of broken or uneven sidewalks throughout the town. And we also do have a plan on that in different target areas.
Okay, thank you. Any questions or comments?
Can I make a quick comment for clarity?
Yep.
So for our watching public, this does not mean all the sidewalks are being redone in town. Just FYI, because there's always that thought. And when Mr. Albert talks about the repairs, you might look down a particular sidewalk and see old blocks, new blocks, old blocks, new blocks. It's not that we're trying to get the residents to play hopscotch with us. It's because we really do have a plan, once again, and we're trying to fix the things that are broken and obviously move on and not fix them all. So it doesn't always look pretty, but it's functional.
Tommy, detection pads are at the intersections?
Yes, the detection pads are obviously for the visual impaired to assist them that they're approaching any type of an intersection, whether it be a side road or especially with at a main road.
So there was a bunch installed years ago that are no longer there. Those are going to be replaced again?
Yes, we have a crew that will go out and actually inspect them all,
Okay.
make sure, take their notes and all that, then they'll come back and they'll start repairing them.
Okay.
Replace them as needed.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Anyone else? Okay, all in favor say aye.
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 All opposed say nay. Okay, this resolution has been adopted. Next item.
Item number 28, authorizing the supervisor to enter into an intermunicipal agreement with the West Irondequoit Central School District for mowing, road maintenance, and other maintenance services.
Okay, motion to adopt.
Moved.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Okay, Mr. Albert.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. This is just our intermunicipal agreement with the West Irondequoit School District to allow us to assist them in any way with shared services, as well as they can reciprocate and offer us anything that they have to help us on the job on a day-to-day basis.
Okay, thank you. Anyone have any questions or comments? So they obviously have their own crews. This is just to assist when needed and vice versa.
Yes, we do any type of repairing, paving, sidewalk work for them, drainage work for them. It's for them to reimburse the town for services that we already have, so they don't have to contract it out.
Awesome.
Tom, when it comes to paving, you have to look to see what you have on your schedule, correct?
That's correct.
Because I know some of the schools this year, they subcontracted that out. We didn't do it.
They did, and what that did is give us more time into our neighborhoods.
Right.
So we were able to get a larger section done this year.
Sure.
By concentrating a little more in town and our own neighborhoods.
Is that something they'll ask you now, like what they may want you to pave next year? And then you'll
Correct,
say
yes,
we
we'll-
don't have the resource, we don't have the HR to do it, right?
Yes, so what we'll do is we'll sit down with West Irondequoit, their Director of Building and Maintenance and Grounds. We'll sit down and we'll kind of see if we can fit them into our schedule, or if our schedule just overwhelmed with our own stuff as much as we try to pave and upkeep of our roads, as well as the oil and stone treatment and all that, that they may not fit into it. And again, so we can service our own neighborhoods and keep going with that program we have.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, anyone else? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Okay, this resolution has been adopted. This concludes our regular town board meeting of October 17th, 2023. We have several meetings coming up. We have our 2024 budget workshop meetings on October 18th and 19th at 5:30 p.m. We have a special town board meeting to adopt that budget on the preliminary budget on October 24th. We will be adding a meeting on October 23rd for our refuse district. And we have a public hearing and 2024 budget meeting on November 9th, 2023 at 7:35 p.m. We have a special town board meeting to adopt the 2024 budget on November 14th, 2023 at 3:30 p.m. Our next workshop meeting is November 14th, 2023 at 4 p.m. Our next regular town board meeting is November 21st at 7 p.m. All those are held here at the Broderick Room and are open to the public and will be viewable online and our ICAT channels. So with that, I will take a motion to adjourn this meeting.
Moved.
Can I get a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Okay, this meeting is adjourned. Thank you.